Her pronouncement of expendable cut through the room like a precisely thrown blade. Piercing, intentional, relentless. She stood confidently at the head of the gleaming mahogany table, her tailored navy suit perfectly accentuating her form, the diamond on her ring catching the chandelier's light. My wife, now elevated to vice president, and my arbiter. Her voice held firm as she declared my termination. Effective immediately. Your position is dispensable, my love. The final word dripped with sharp disdain. The board members shifted uncomfortably, their nervous chuckles betraying a mix of unease and relief that they weren't the target. I didn't flinch or argue. I simply signed the severance documents, stood, and exited. I'd long since learned that silence disquiets more than rage. Our paths first crossed 12 years ago in a chaotic startup office, thick with the scent of burnt coffee and unbridled ambition. She crunched numbers as a data analyst. I was the closer, securing deals others deemed unattainable. Together, we forged a powerhouse. Late nights fueled by takeout containers and ideas scribbled across the living room carpet. When we married, she called us unstoppable, a perfect alliance. But somewhere along the way, her words rang hollow. The first crack surfaced 3 months prior. I'd come home late from a client dinner and overheard her muted kitchen conversation about a leadership overhaul and removing him discreetly. I was supposed to believe she meant someone else. I didn't. When she was promoted to VP, surpassing me, I offered my congratulations. Her smile was measured, her kiss on my cheek mechanical. That same week, she began reallocating my accounts, claiming it was to lighten my burden. That was the initial signal. The second hint emerged when I spotted the CEO's name in her call log, timestamped deep into the night. By the time she announced my dismissal, I wasn't shocked. This wasn't just ambition. It was a meticulously planned coup. That night, I didn't drown my frustration in bourbon or raise my voice. Instead, I retreated to my office and opened the slim black dossier I'd been assembling for 2 months. It contained emails, contract copies, and client agreements laced with intricate clauses only I fully comprehended. The company viewed my role as mere client management. They failed to see that those relationships were underpinned by airtight terms. I'd personally negotiated conditions allowing clients to walk away within 30 days, without penalty, if I departed the firm. For clients, for linchpin accounts, accounting for $80 million in annual revenue, I didn't contact them. I didn't need to. News of my exit reached them before the day ended. By morning, my phone hummed with messages from their CEOs, all conveying the same resolve. We're done. Without you, the contracts are void. 2 weeks later, the company reached out. The CEO's voice was taut, heavy with suppressed panic. We need you back. The accounts are withdrawing. I remained silent. Then he pivoted to threats. Your contract binds you to return, or we'll take legal action. A faint smile crossed my face. The urgent board meeting convened in a sleek, glass-walled conference room, perched 40 floors above the city's sprawl. My wife sat at the head once more, but her usual composure had frayed. The CEO paced like a man facing a verdict. The company's lawyer slid my contract across the table. Clause 17, subsection C. You're obligated to return in cases of major client attrition. I flipped through the pages slowly, letting the tension simmer. Then I pointed to a single line tucked within the text. The lawyer leaned in, reading quietly. His brow furrowed. He read it again. It's conditional, he said finally, looking at the CEO. Conditional? The CEO barked. The lawyer nodded. It only applies if the employee left voluntarily. My wife's eyes met mine. You fired me, I said evenly, my tone calm but sharp enough to cut through the air. That voids the clause. Her face paled. The room grew still. The CEO's gaze flicked to her, then back to the lawyer. Is that accurate? The lawyer hesitated. Yes. If she terminated him, there's no legal basis to compel his return. My wife swallowed visibly. We can negotiate something, she faltered. I leaned forward, letting the silence stretch. There's nothing to negotiate. The accounts are already gone. Her hands trembled as she gripped the table's edge. My God, she whispered. The CEO turned to her, his expression darkening, as if seeing her for the first time. You triggered this? He growled. I said nothing further. I rose, buttoned my coat, and walked toward the door. Behind me, voices erupted. Accusations, desperation. The sound of empires crumbling. Through the glass wall, I caught a final glimpse of her, head cradled in her hands, enveloped by the chaos she'd unleashed. The irony of being deemed expendable is that it holds true only until you prove otherwise. I'd built the revenue streams. I'd secured the contracts. And I walked away with the one asset they couldn't duplicate: loyalty. She stripped me of my role. I unraveled her future. A fair trade. They never understood that my silence wasn't surrender. It was the sound of the trap closing. When it snapped shut, it wasn't merely revenge. It was retribution.